Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Saturday, September 25th. Haven't done an overall a property overview for quite a while, so I figured go ahead and get started on that. So here we go. All right, we're starting up here by where the vehicles are. As you can see, now it's growth is slowing down this year. It's getting a little bit later. It's towards the end of September here. But as you notice, this grew in a decent amount. There's still obviously a lot of open spots here. That I planted all this year. Out there in the middle, it keeps growing in more and more, but it's slowed down pretty well. And that's fine. And if you look here, I planted that Bradford RPR. I'm just going to give a quick overview. This is 2 weeks since I planted it here. So, and as you can see there, it seems to be coming in now. If you get right up on top of it, it obviously looks a little bit thinner, but it is getting thicker. It just takes a little bit of time. I just started mowing it. I got a nice little reel mower. Never used one before. They work real nice. They're the old school ones without a motor in them, but you can see the grass is growing in. This is that regenerative perennial ryegrass from Bradford. It's called Turf Star. A little bit thin. It's growing. It's slow, but since it's cool season grass, it needs to be planted during the fall or early. And since we're in the south, early in the springtime, like beginning of March. And you can see this pretty well grew in right there. It's not quite all the way, but the grass there grew in pretty close, but not all the way. And if you remember this was basically not here. This spread all over the place this year. And so we're gonna go along here. So growing vegetables, first of all, anybody wondering, there was a carrot in there. The carrot was nice and big on the top, the foliage was, and nothing came through down below. Seedless watermelons didn't come through, and the Romas didn't come through, Roma tomatoes. Now here we have, we got another one. This one's been kicking off cucumbers all year. So this works really nice, and I really like growing it up on a trellis like this. Works really well. Got a bunch of tomatoes that are coming in there. This works really nice in pots as well. And then all this corn, a couple of them, he had something get into them, but you know, it really damaged the corn, a couple of ears of corn here. But then some of the new stuff, I ended up spraying a bunch of stuff. I don't know what it was, but everything else is doing all right now. Tassels are all out. And then we come over here. These are green beans, and as you can see, we're starting to see some, quite a few actually back there. So that's really good. They'll be ready to be picked here in probably another week or two. There's some, maybe next weekend, some. And here we have the citrus tree, as always, clementines. Nice, big and bushy, and as you can tell, this guy, it got all the way above. I mean, it was nowhere near this height. They just keep growing up further and further and further. And this one right here, all the way on the end, same thing, nice and big and bushy. Now it is getting cool enough here in the next couple weeks. I'm gonna have to move them I'm gonna have to get some grow lights and move them indoors with a heater to keep them with enough light, because I want to really put some size on them over the winter. And so my idea is I'm going to put it inside with grow lights and a heater and basically simulate a tropical climate. So, and the grass here again didn't quite get, if you look at some of my earlier videos, like one of the first couple that I did, you'll see how thin this was. And so it grew in a lot. I mean, it's not there. It's not going to make it this year, but most of this stuff here will grow in next year. The only one I don't know is this big gap here. I don't think it will grow in next year. But as you can see here, you can see all these runners that are spreading across, and it has closed the gap a little bit, or not a little bit. It has closed the gap quite a bit, but it still has a long ways to go. And we are going to go right up here. Now these are my blackberries. And the blackberries started making it so long that they came all the way to the end, and then I had to make a second tier coming across with these. And same way with that one, him coming across up and over. And I'm gonna have to anchor this guy, because this guy keeps falling down, because he needs to stay about right like that. And this stuff keeps growing down over the end. I'm gonna have to put it up also. But as you can see, these are blackberries. These were tiny little plants when I got them this year, so they're just going nuts. These blueberries keep growing. They're now, these right here about belly button high. That one a little bit less so, and that one even less yet. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's just not growing a whole lot. Same way with this blueberry right back here. It doesn't look bad, it's just not growing a whole lot. There is a little bit of growth, but not tons. Now this one is over belly button high. This is actually almost chest high here. And these were just tiny little guys when I got them this year in April. So they put on a lot of size, and this one's even bigger yet. This one's really big. So no, these are coming along really nicely. Have kiwi here. And my kiwi here, they made it to the trellis, and he's starting to run down the trellis. That one right there is kind of going up a little bit. It's getting a little bit cooler, so they're going to start withering. Now this guy, well, I don't know what to do about him. As far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong. Plenty of, we made sure to put plenty of, fertilizer in the miners and plenty of water, and tried cutting down on the water and tried adding more water and everything else. I can't figure out what's going on. So, and this was a pear tree. This got taken down video and video that I posted yesterday. So he is now gone. And we just got done. So we dropped that main tree over there, and we just got done. Remember me telling you about the Bradford Pears that I really didn't like and that their days were numbered? Their days finally ran out. They're all done there. I picked up, there was a whole tree's worth right here, and I ended up picking that up already, but I'm going to Canada this week for work, so my father-in-law Mark is going to cut them all up and then take them out to the burn pile. So, but yeah, they're all gone. Thankfully, I really don't like these things. These Bradford Pears are really not good for anything. They look real pretty for about a week and a half in, January or February, something like that. Like, oh, they have such pretty blooms. And like, yeah, and the rest of the time, they're absolutely horrendous. I'm not one for just willy-nilly getting rid of trees, but it kind of worked out that that right there along the fence is where the apple trees are going to go, because that means I had an excuse to get rid of those Bradford Pears. And that's all I was looking for. I just need an excuse. And we're back front, still no gate. I mean, they said it'd be a few months, so I'm not that surprised, but I mean, still no gate. And so, one of Sapphire's balls right there. But yeah, and then we're back around to the front, and again, you can see here really nicely. Well, it looks really nice. Got all the weeds out of it. It's growing in, just needs to thicken up a little bit. Don't know if it's going to this year or not. But anyway, guys, that was the update for September 25th. Everything's going really nicely. We're in the transition. We're not quite in fall here, but we're not in fall either. Like, basically, I'm looking this next week. It's only going to be up in the low to mid 70s here, and upper 40s, low 50s at night. So we're basically there, and I need to put those citrus trees away. What they say is once the weather overnight gets down below 50 degrees consistently, then they need to go inside. So that's what I'm going to do. Probably in a few weeks. We'll see, because in the south we get false fall every once in a while, where you're like, oh, it's going to be fall, and then it comes back at like 90 degrees for another 3 weeks. So we'll see if that happens too. So hope everybody had a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.